He about to drive through the grid and all.
That's the Ford Tech on Beatty Road for vehicle accident with injuries and entrapment. Station 5, Rescue 40 to respond.
Then you got the light going on that thing. Then he was running slow. He was eating donuts and shit.
Yeah, 921 two vehicles, partial ejection, start fire EMS, possible speed.
Come another 12.
Okay, as you heard, Officer Hummons called on scene. He gives us a report. He typically gives us an update on what we might find as far as injuries are concerned. Gives us a little heads up as far as what resources we might need as far as rescue.
Look like landed it dead.
Two vehicles, looks like at least 4 injuries. We're going to need an additional EMS unit. C-50 will help you, man. Help C-50 on the scene. The vehicle accident, 4 injuries, requesting additional EMS. 416.
But I'm saying that.
Medic 6-9's en route.
Why the fire truck?
The fire truck was.
Okay, the fire chief has called on scene. He's requested an additional ambulance.
51, check for that entrapment. R4, take the second vehicle.
Yeah, I wasn't hanging up.
She's still hanging on the window.
Rescue 4's office, communication, Rescue 4's on the scene. Rescue 4 on the scene, 1033.
I know she called his luck, because I'm
You want to go scene? Engine 51, 1033. Medic 6-9's out. Medic 6-9, 1033.
All right, our typical accident response involves usually an ambulance, a rescue, and an engine. The engine is for water in case the vehicles do catch fire. They will pull a hand line. The hand line will be used multi-purpose.
One pediatric patient. Okay,
Okay, you're going to see a lot of things done simultaneously. Everybody on every apparatus has a job and everybody has a task. Everybody that gets off either has a tool in their hand or they're going to be pulling something that has to do with getting the patients out of the vehicle. So you're going to see a lot of action going on very quickly in a very short amount of time. A typical scene like this will take us about 20-25 minutes to get everyone out of the vehicle and into the ambulances and then route to the hospital. In case the vehicles do catch fire while we're cutting them, there's a lot of metal on metal. There's a lot of battery and electrical issues in today's vehicles, so they're going to be looking for hazards as far as possibly the airbags going off on our firefighters, which could cause us injuries. They're also looking for disconnecting the batteries in the terminals to make sure that they don't get shocked themselves, because the new hybrid cars store energy. That stored energy can actually electrocute us and put us down with about 220 to 500 volts, even though the vehicle's shut off. The fire hose is also going to be used for landing the helicopter, should we need a helicopter. Now, as you can see, they're going to start assessing patients. They're going to start prioritizing care. The walking wounded are going to be moved on to a different place. We move the walking wounded onto a different place so that they're, number one, out of our way. Number two, so that they don't get further injured. At that point, we're going to assess as to whether or not we have any deceased patients. Our deceased patients become a very low priority on these calls, especially when we have multiple patients. The reason why they become low priority is because we cannot care for them, and we will not care for them. As you can see there, Officer Homan is now doing a field sobriety check on our driver. As you can see, she's going to probably, and I can probably guarantee you, fail miserably. She's then handcuffed in front of her friends, which is always a special moment, especially on your YouTubes and your Facebook accounts. We appreciate seeing 16-year-olds handcuffed in front of a police officer. It's always special for us to see that on your Facebooks. And she's then placed in handcuffs and put into the police car and taken to a hospital where she will have blood drawn. That blood will give us a blood alcohol level as to whether or not and how she's going to be charged. At this point, with two DUA patients, I can guarantee you she's going to be getting some criminal homicide charges filed against her. This is not how you want to spend your summer. As you can see, we have two fire crews working. The first fire crew, you can see some firemen inside the vehicle. They are currently holding C-spine so that they don't injure themselves any further while looking around the vehicle. They're going to throw a cervical collar on all these patients. They're going to then pull them out and immobilize them onto a longboard. The tools they are using are what you typically hear on television as being the jaws of life. There's several types and versions of that tool. As you can see, the ones off the rescue truck are slightly different than the ones that are off the engine. These tools are very, very efficient at destroying your vehicle. Like I said, we can cut your roof off of your car, pop all four doors, flatten your tires, cut your windshields in a matter of 25 minutes. For those of you that love your vehicle as much as I do, this is probably going to be a sad moment for you. We have no regard for your vehicles, as you can tell, once we come on scene. Your vehicle becomes nothing but a piece of metal to us, and we're going to tear it apart to get you out.
Drop top deep and shit. They about to do it.
Yes, they did just do that to that door. Like I said, vehicles mean nothing to us now. We're going to try everything we can to get you out of that vehicle in the most efficient and easiest way possible for us to get you out of that vehicle. The victim that is out on the hood of the vehicle in the SUV is deceased. That's the reason why we're not working on her. We're not going to tie up valuable resources and valuable rescuers on other people that are injured and in need of more medical care.
Force Command, guys. Force Command, Life Flight ETA, less than 5 minutes.
Okay, copy that. Tell them we have an LZ set up in the northerly grass lawn.
Okay, for those of you that did not hear that, Life Flight has been requested. Life Flight is in the air with a 5-minute ETA. Our chief officer has about 100 things that he has to look out for right now. So as you can see by your 5 seconds of texting causing this accident, you've created quite a display. Our fire chief has about 100 things that he has to make sure. The primary thing is that he needs to make sure that his crew members are safe and that they're not going to be injured by glass, by cutting metal, by the vehicles catching fire, by the vehicles rolling. He also has to make sure that there aren't any patients inside the vehicle that are going to cause us harm. As you know, we are a very armed nation. We carry a lot of firearms today. We want to make sure that those drunk patients aren't carrying firearms and that we're safe in that regard. Next thing he's going to worry about is whether or not his tools are working and whether or not they're getting the job done in a timely fashion. He knows that there's a helicopter on the way with 5 minutes. He also knows that within the golden hour of trauma, we need to have these patients down to a trauma center. So we have an hour from the time we call on scene to getting to the hospital for getting you good tertiary care. And that's in a trauma center like Allegheny General, Mercy Hospital, UPMC, and the like. So we have about a 25-minute transport time on top of cutting these patients out of the vehicle that we have to get them downtown. That math is figured into the fire chief and his decisions as to how the fire scene is going. As you can see, one of the patients has been extricated. He's been taken to the ambulance for care. We don't do a lot of advanced care as far as putting the patients on monitor and starting IVs until the patients are inside the vehicle. Once the patients are inside the ambulance, that's when we start our ALS care, unless it's going to be a long extrication. If the extrication is going to take an extended period amount of time, i.e. 20 minutes or longer, we will start care inside the vehicle. We will start our IVs in the vehicle, we will put them on the heart monitor, and we'll start primary care. All right, the job of the helicopter is twofold. The first is to make sure that he has a safe landing for his crew. Again, his crew is primary. So he's going to do a circle and make sure that his crew is safe and that they have a nice flat and even plane to land, to make sure that we don't land them on a hillside. He's going to do one full circle. He's going to check to make sure everything's copacetic as far as landing his helicopter. With the amount of fuel and the high flammability of that helicopter and the fuel that it carries, he wants to make sure that he doesn't land on us. Now we have special lights that are set outside that are called landing zone lights. These lights are only visible to the pilot, they're not visible to anybody else. He should be able to see those landing zone lights and be able to put the helicopter in between the 4 landing zone lights that we provide. We alert them that life flight's on the ground for a couple reasons. Number one, so that our communications knows that our people are safe and that the helicopter blades are not taking out any of our rescuers. And it's also to alert their dispatch to let them know that they have landed. They actually do a lot of math calculations with the helicopter and their dispatch as far as their fuel is concerned. Obviously, they have a gas tank. The gas tank does not carry a lot of fuel, however, runs very efficiently. The amount of fuel is measured by weight. The amount of weight that they have is dependent on how many people that they have in the helicopter when they take off and go to the trauma center. If they have a heavier patient, obviously it's going to take more fuel for them to get to the hospital. If they have a lighter patient, it's going to take less fuel. Already cut the roof off of the vehicle to access this patient. We are now 20 minutes into the incident. It is now 10:50. We started at 10:30. So in a matter of 20 minutes, you can see what we've done. We've managed to extricate and cut the doors off of the Jeep, the SUV. We've made an arrest. The patients have been removed out of the Jeep and moved to the ambulances.
Fatality.
Copy 1051.
This is actually the last of the patients being removed out of the vehicle that is not a fatality. Our ambulances are capable of transporting 2 patients at a time. And at a call like this, any walking injured that were on scene, any of the people that got out of the vehicle and walked, we can typically put them either in a cervical collar if they need immobilized, or we'll put them in the front of the ambulance and transport them to the hospital with the other patients just to seek medical attention, make sure that they're all right. Now, by law, anybody under the age of 18, we have to have parental consent. Parental consent in contacting your parents in an accident scene takes time. Again, we have a 25-minute transport time down to the city. That 25-minute transport time, plus the amount of time that it's taken, which is about 20 minutes of extrication time, is 40 minutes. This is 40 minutes of care that we've initiated to your injured person. Now we have to contact your parents. Does everybody know your parents' phone numbers? Whose phone numbers are on speed dials and you just press a 1, 2, or 3 to get a hold of them?
Okay. No idea.
I know, I don't remember a lot of numbers that I used to. Probably 9 times out of 10 more my age than anything. But a lot of us use speed dials. Getting a hold of your parents is a nightmare. And a lot of times we will forego that permission and take you downtown regardless and act on what's called the Good Samaritan Law. The Good Samaritan Law allows us to treat minors without parental consent. However, there's a lot of things that we have to prove as far as that parental consent's involved. All right, 20 minutes into the incident, every patient has been extricated from the vehicle. We are fully clipped for the accident scene. The accident scene is now the coroner vehicle scene. The coroner is going to come and take pictures of the deceased. They're going to come and take pictures of what's going on. They're going to take a lot of pictures of the alcohol containers that you have in the vehicle. They're going to look at your cell phone and see who you may be texting. That is part of the investigation as to what caused this accident. Drunk driving, any DUI conviction, your insurance is not going to cover you. You're going to have to pay out of pocket. The increase in RPMs that you hear for the helicopter is them lifting off. They're about to lift off and take a picture.
They really taking that short to get off?
Now, the deceased patients inside the vehicle have now become coroner property. The coroners will dictate as to how they want those patients touched and moved.
Forbes Command.
All patients have been extricated. They are in ambulances.
They are placed in a canvas bag. The canvas bag is to protect them from body fluids, which there are a lot of in these kind of situations. Your parents will be brought to the coroner's office. Once they're brought to the coroner's office, they will unzip that bag and have your body identified. It's very impersonal. It's very cold. They deal with death on a daily basis. They're as compassionate as they can be. But remember, they deal with many of these a year. It's very cold, it's very dark, and it's a horrible thing for anybody to have to go and witness and to claim their deceased ones at a coroner's office. The coroners have now decided to take the second victim out. The second victim is going to be photographed many times for their medical records. The coroner's office is not only involved in removal of the deceased victims, they're also in charge of the scene as well. This scene may be active for upwards of 6 to 8 hours if that's what they need to do to take pictures and to preserve that scene to find out exactly what happened. The firefighters are now also walking around cleaning things up, making sure that they don't leave any tools behind. Make sure that they don't have any victims laying outside of vehicles in a grassy area or down over a hill. Make sure that they haven't had anybody wander away and fallen down a hill or stumbled and hurt themselves somewhere else. Many of our DUI accidents involve patients getting out of the vehicles and running. I can tell you with almost utmost certainty, a 90% chance, you're going to still get caught. We're going to find you, either by your license plate and by your friends who want to tell on you, or we're going to find you laying outside somewhere else. We will find you. If you're injured that badly in an accident, you're going to seek medical attention. You're going to want to go to a hospital and get care. We will find you. With that, we're about a half an hour into our situation. We are actually complete. All patients are transported. All patients are en route to the hospital. Those patients that do not need transported to the hospital have been cared for. It's not worth it, folks. It's just not worth it.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right.